Okay, so I'm going to start, Michael, with this question for you, and we're going to spotlight you in just a moment. Um, I would like to ask you what success means to you.
Mm. Thank you, Vicky. It's a joy and an honor to be here with you all. And my my best friend, who became my business partner many years ago, which we'll talk about that in a little while. Uh, he he came up with his definition of success, which we've always used in our company, and I like it. I like it a lot, and I wanted to share it with you. If you wanted to write this down, might be a he said success is when we could maximize our opportunities, and many opportunities will come our way when we maximize our opportunities without, and here's the big part, without neglecting our priorities. So you're maximizing your opportunities, but you're not neglecting your priorities. And that's what a lot of successful people have done. They've maximized their opportunities, but they have neglected their priorities. And their priorities could be their family, their priorities could be their health, et cetera, et cetera. So when you can incorporate both into your life at the same time, I think that's a short answer, Vicky, and you can go into a lot of pieces of that, and I'm sure we will. But I just wanted to give you that little snapshot of how I see success.
Yes, in fact, could we start with what are some of your priorities, Michael?
Well, my biggest priority, my number one priority is my relationship with God. Uh, Follow right behind that is my relationship with my wife, Deborah. Uh, this August, we'll be celebrating our 50th wedding anniversary, which is unbelievable. You know, we say to each other, "Where has the time gone?" And it just goes fast, let me tell you. Uh, so anyway, my children are priorities. My grandchildren are priorities. My service to those that God puts in my life is a very, very large priority for me as well. And then being responsible, taking care of the obligations and responsibilities that are before me are a priority as well. And then, then there's the priorities of just self-care, eating right, exercising. And it's okay to even have some recreation and have fun too. You know, I don't want to sound so spiritual that I, I like having fun as much as anyone else. It's a gift. It's really a gift.
It seems to me that you were. I'm going to go way back now because I really want people to hear a little bit of the history of your business, and it seems to me that you actually started out having fun when you
Mhm.
so because it goes back to um, something that you and my husband have in common, and that is what some people may or may not in India know about, and that is the hippie days. So, would you be so kind as to share with us a little bit about the history of your business?
Yes. So, so as Vicky said, when I was in college, when I was about 20 years old, uh, I was searching. I was really searching to try to understand what's the meaning of life. Uh, and to tell you the truth, I was a little depressed, and I was smoking marijuana to try to help me with some of my depression, and also to try to help me understand the right path for my life. So, and I certainly don't recommend this, what I'm about to say, but in my third year of college, I decided that college wasn't for me. I wasn't getting anything out of it. I was going there because that was what I was supposed to do. But I spoke to my father and I said, Dad, I'm just not getting anything out of this. So he said, that's all right. You got to work and make a living. I said, I understand. So I dropped out of college with my best friend. And yeah, you wouldn't believe it, but I had long hair and a big beard. Actually, I could send you a picture after the fact, Vicky, and you could, I think you guys would get a kick out of that, seeing what I looked like when I was 20 years old. And like I said, I was searching, and we lived in New York, and that we went out to the west coast of the United States, and we bought a little piece of land with a little cabin on it, and we thought, see, here's a misconception too. I want you all to realize that we moved to the country away from the city. We had a little cabin with a creek, like some water on it, and it was beautiful. I thought that by moving from the city to the country and having this new environment, that was going to change my life, only to realize that changing your external environment will never do anything for your internal. It's a misconception. And when I moved out there, I was just as depressed as I was when I lived in the city. That didn't do anything for me. So yeah, but do you want me to keep going, Vicky, to what
Yeah,
happened next?
we want to hear about how the business started for sure.
All right. Well, I'm going to just share a few little things and then I'll get into the business in a second. But so something amazing happened when I was out there in my lowest time. I met this girl and I really liked her. And we had a lot in common. And I was able to talk to her about anything. And we talked for hours and hours and hours. I talked to her about my fears, my dreams, how I saw God. She shared with me. When you meet someone and you could just talk with them for hours and hours, it's an amazing gift. Anyway, to make a long story short, I think after a little bit of time, I was falling in love with her. And I knew that I didn't meet her. She was also from New York, but she was out on the West Coast too. And my friend and I were hitchhiking down to Mexico. We went into San Francisco. It's a great story how we met. But I knew it wasn't luck. I knew it wasn't coincidence. I knew in my heart that God really arranged this for us to meet at this time of my life, in my lowest point. So after I left her and I came back home, someone had given me a book to read. It was the Bible, and I started to read it. And over a period of maybe 3-4 weeks, something shifted in my heart, especially in my relationship with God. And that really changed me dramatically. That was a real turning point in my life. So I'd say the 3 turning points in my life were meeting my Deborah, who is my wife now, and having this new relationship with God. And then that friend of mine who went out with me, we both dropped out of college. He's the one. I always wanted to have a business with my best friend. So that was the 3rd turning point, was starting a business. His name is Ron. And Ron and I started this business.